What's up, guys? Welcome back to the That's So Dev podcast. My name is Dev. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. We got some tea to get into, okay? But before we get into the tea, make sure you go ahead and follow me at That's So Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube. We kind of popping over there, okay? And make sure you stream my new single on site. Love that for you. Refer it to your aunts, uncles, and grandparents in their 40s plus. Thank you. Now, we got some Hannah Montana tea to talk about today because I do want to chat about the Hannah Montana 20th anniversary special. And to be clear, it is a special, not a reunion. It is an anniversary special, not a reunion. Truly, because it obviously, but it also feels like a celebration of Miley and Hannah Montana in itself. Not necessarily the show overall, and that's fine. You know, honestly, hearing how fast it came together, knowing how long it takes productions to go to pre-production and all of that stuff, like, wow, like, truly wow. And it's so funny actually listening to Miley discuss how it came about, because she says in the special that there was no special, and she had just said something on the carpet about the special, and she manifested it and blah 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 blah. And that's kind of where it really all started. But the actual tea though, this started on Twitter. If it had not been, and I think it's Miley Nation, if it had not been for Miley Nation posting that fake teaser that went so viral that it was on news sources, girl, like international news was covering that this special was happening, and it went out of control. And I don't think anybody could have predicted that. And one of the things that I will say is that Miley fans are very good at lying, and it's become such a trend, especially during flowers. They make up narratives for no reason, but the narratives aren't entirely false. It takes the truth, right, and creates a narrative that's not true. Like, the contents of what's being said is true, but like the narrative they've created with it is not true. like it's I don't know. It's such an insane manipulation tool. I'm not even joking with you. But here we are, one of those lies have definitely pushed some boundaries, because soon after that, that's when the interview happened with Miley talking about the special. Um, Clocking some tea there anyway, but mm, no, literally sipping my tea. But, you know, again, the special came so fast, everything happened so fast. I'm sure they didn't have time to do absolutely everything that they would have loved to have done, you know? Um, but I will say what they did with it was very beautiful. Um, I'm not entirely sure how I felt about the interview with Alex. I think that I enjoyed it more than I expected to, especially because Alex was an actual fan of Hannah Montana, and you can tell that she genuinely was. And, she was tearing up even with Miley. So it felt authentic. It didn't feel off. And, I'm okay with that right now. So I genuinely don't have any complaints. I was confused on the direction, but it worked out in their favor. So awesome sauce. But what confused me, I think, the most was probably Chapel Roan. And we obviously heard that it was supposed to be Sabrina Carpenter, but that didn't happen. But the fact that they brought Chapel Roan in made no sense. It would have made more sense to bring a cast member in during that period right there. I mean, you could have brought in Jason and Moises. Like, I totally understand it's a celebration of Miley, but that would have made a lot more sense, and we could have seen that on camera, and that would have been awesome. Even if it was Amber and Ashley, like, that really could have been a moment that you could have done to heighten the documentary. But documentary anniversary special, whatever. But It is what it is. It was still beautiful. It was wonderful moments, Tish's idea to have that moment where they read the email to Miley, that was such a special moment. It was my favorite moment of the special. It really like tied a knot on everything. It was so emotional. My goodness. I think having Selena Gomez in there was a wonderful idea because Hannah Montana Michaela, that really is a staple in pop culture, especially in the show. I mean, it's not just a one off episode thing, it's kind of a going thing that they kind of have this pop star feud. And, they a bit fight over Miley's soon to be boyfriend, ex boyfriend, whatever, like Jake Ryan. Hello. So, I think it was really nice to have her come in. That made sense to me. And I think genuinely everything made sense to me except for Chapel Roan. I'm not a Chapel Roan hater. I'm not. Don't come for my neck, girls. Okay, it just didn't make sense. And if it did, make it make sense to me. Anywho, so I think my favorite part of this was the Hannah of it all. Obviously, right? It's amazing how Miley was able to blend her and Hannah Montana together. And this was her whole idea to begin with. And a lot of people were like, well, this doesn't really look like Hannah Montana. A lot of people were like, this looks like Hannah, but it also looks like Miley. Like I saw that as a complaint from a lot of people, but also hearing in the documentary, like obviously she said this in the documentary, so she said this way before the reactions came out. So she didn't just say this and make this up today. She said she genuinely wanted to blend the realities of Hannah and Miley at the same time so people see both. And that is what people saw. Nobody really knew that that was the whole point. And that's truly a gag to me because I really did see both. There was even a magazine shoot where it, it was very clear who was Miley and what pictures were Hannah Montana. And it's amazing how she's been able to blend those, like I said. So kudos to her, my girl. She eats down, she eats it up. Love her. That's my girl. Has been ever since I had the cardboard cutout. Yep. Down, down. Also had that poster, the pink and the green one with Hannah and Miley back to back. That was a slash in the middle. Yep. Had it. Yeah. You better believe it. Yeah, totally. Mm. The Tooth Tunes toothbrush with the best of both worlds. Yeah. Had it all. The cereal, all of it. Yeah. Anywho, so special, wonderful. It was. The it wasn't just the Hannah of it all. That was my favorite part. It was the Hannah of it all and the performances. Oh my goodness. The way that we entered the special with her, well, leaving the Hannah Montana house, the original one, right? Because I think we've like I it almost seems like Hannah Montana Forever was its own little world. That's what it's kind of starting to seem like, right? Because like realistically, she wouldn't be driving from that house because they don't live there anymore. So it's very clear. Miley has almost no memory of the difference between season 3 and season 4. That was very clear even in the special, and they kept that in there. I was like, well, they had no choice. It was a moment, right? So like we start off the special with her leaving the Hannah Montana house. She's driving in this car. Finally, Hannah Montana has her license. You know what I mean? I mean, she been had her license, but Miss Miley got pulled over with Hannah Montana's license, and the girls had to ask why. Anyhow, so she's driving in this car, and she arrives at the studio lot, whatever, and she gets out of the car, and she has her Hannah Montana what is that thing? I don't know what it's called, but it's the makeup thing that she had in the movie. The pink thingy. She had that. It was just so gaggery. I was like a callback to the movie. Like, this is it, truly. And then she walks in, and look, clearly I know that it is. Let me set my tea. Because, girl, the way these allergies been setting up, you hear my throat? Look, Hannah Montana, the movie, I think really kind of, I think it pushed the boundaries a bit for Hannah Montana. Like, I think it took, and obviously they had the 3D movie, right? Okay, cut all this out because I don't remember what I'm even saying. So it's clear that the director from Something Beautiful had also worked on this special because of the way that it was shot. And if we're being honest, Something Beautiful feels like Hannah Montana too. Mm, mm. No, is it can't be just me. It can't be just me. You know, her blending the realities of Hannah and Miley, it looks quite a bit like Something Beautiful era Miley hair. So I mean, it a bit like sometimes it looks really brown, but sometimes it looks really blonde. Like depending on which way she stands in the lighting, it could be either one, and it's so well done. But you know the way that she walks through the sound stage with the Hannah hair, the fur jacket, the scarf as the belt now instead of around her neck, like it was definitely giving Something Beautiful. What's the song? No, 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 no. Easy Lover. Yeah, I had to sing a little bit to remember the name of the girl. Anyway, so like it was definitely giving that in a way. And she walks on stage and she performs Best of Both Worlds. Gag me with a spoon, girl. Best of Both Worlds? Yes, absolutely. And she ate it up and she ate it up. Look, the maturity in her voice now singing these songs, I think it really made Best of Both Worlds sound like a rock song. And it was so well done, kept the choreography, everything was on point. Like, yes, with the sun, Hannah Montana in the background, like, and the amazing thing is, like, she's really been with the band that she has the entire time. That is phenomenal. Anywho, so after she sings Best of Both Worlds, her next performance is This Is the Life. Gagged. Gagged. It sounds even better with her vocals now. It sounds so good. And there's no reason, literally none, no reason why there is no, like, where are the live performances? Why are they not on streaming services already? Make it make sense. It should have been on already. Hello? Clock it. So like this is the life. I think it made me feel way more now. Like it carries more weight now, especially with the lyrical content of it. Because a lot of Hannah Montana songs, when you just sit and you listen to those songs, they carry a lot of weight. The lyrical content is actually quite deep for a Hannah Montana song. I've often found myself questioning how on earth is that a Hannah Montana song? Could no, like every part of me make it make sense. But ate that up. I gotta say, love that. You know, as the show grew, as she grew, the music grew for Hannah Montana as well, and that was beautiful. It felt like a real artist, but she also was a real artist. I mean, people don't like. It's scary to me because Disney said, "Hey, we want to make a fictional pop star and turn into a real one," and they actually did that. And I don't think people really like fully process how kind of crazy that is, but they did. And really seeing how she's so alone in that experience, because I'm like, they've never really done that where they've turned a fictional pop star into a real one, but the person bringing that to life is also a pop star herself. That has not been done again, and they're probably not going to do that again because that was insane. And to put that one thing on a child would probably, you know, raise some child labor laws issues. Like, yeah, you could say, "Oh, we're quite woke now." Well, yes, girl. We're not working children to death. Okay? If that's woke, oh well. Suck it up, buttercup. Like, no. You know? So I feel like the approach with child actors and Disney Channel actors are so much better, especially because they have ex actors on sets as directors and whatnot to really guide them through the process. So awesome on them. Anyway. Isn't this wonderful, y'all? Mm. How long is this podcast done? You know, this special was just, it was such a great thing to celebrate all of that. You know, all of that work that she put in. I mean, you know, listening to even Jason just talk about the special and how, you know, he didn't necessarily mind the direction that they took with it just because of the timing sake of it all. And also at the same time, you know, it made sense that this was a celebration of the person who made Hannah Montana become a thing. Like she was Hannah Montana, you know. Hannah Montana was more than just a show. Hannah Montana was her life. Like when people got to clock out off set, she went off set to go to rehearsal, to prepare for a tour, to be Hannah Montana and Miley at the same time. That is insane. So I think that she quite literally deserves all of her flowers. I mean, for real, she really does. All of that hard work, and you know, and then when you turn around and you see, you know, her wanting to take it in a summer vacation and fans being very irritated with that, like, girl, you like, not that you had to like earn it, but like you definitely have earned it. Like down, like, whoa, you know, and you just honestly look at her chart history with her albums, with her songs. Like, look at Miley and Hannah Montana both at the same time, and you know, even look at the little splashes that Ashley O made. I mean, like, hello, like she's not just like she's literally a whole other persona. Like, she is also Ashley O. She was a pop star in another thing. Like, that's kind of crazy with music that charted on Billboard charts. Like, couldn't make it up if I tried. Like Miley under three different names. Like that is crazy. I love that for you, girl. Like eat it up. Doesn't matter what you do. People going to eat it up, girl. So I'm really obsessed. You know, this whole special, like I said a billion times, it was amazing. I wish I could have saw more of the cast, even though it wasn't necessarily about being a reunion of the TV show in itself. But I definitely wish that we could have saw more of them. But what we got was beautiful. It was wonderfully done. I think that Tish Cyrus knows exactly what she's doing. And, you know, she said on the podcast, she's like, I don't know if people know that behind this, I was really behind the scenes of it all, and blah, 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 blah. And to be honest with you, and here's the tea. Mm. I remember watching the show and, you know, Miley and her dad being on the show, but I obviously knew he was always on set with her, but I never really thought that he was the moving machine behind her in the decisions because specifically I remember the Best of Both Worlds tour highlighting so much of the fact that her mom played a vital part to what she does. And it was really at that point that I knew she was behind everything. The way that she was changing Miley, because I haven't watched it in a while, but I specifically remember her really talking about like, you know, these people don't really know Miley like that. I know Miley like that. So whenever she's changing between like, you know, songs and sets and whatnot, like I'm just yanking the chains off her and all of that. And you know what I mean? Like it was very clear that she played a vital role. So I always knew that as a fan. And I think that more people probably knew that than she knows. So gag, love that, you know? So, anywho, that's really all I have to say for today. I just want to come on here and talk about the special just for a little bit, you know? Um, there's not too much to this special. It's just an hour. And that's the thing. There was so much for them to work with. You know, they had hours of footage and they chopped it down to an hour, which didn't make sense. Honestly, they could have did like 4 little episodes and did like a little docu-series type of thing. And that would have been awesome too, you know, but it's really it's whatever. It's Disney, and Disney is going to do what Disney wants to do. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the That's So Dev podcast, where you stay true and you stay you. Okay, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at That's So Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube. We kind of popping over there. Okay, make sure you stream my new single on site. Love that for you. Wait until tonight, girl. Now I'm hopping off here, and I will be seeing you on the next podcast. Peace.